Hello and welcome to a special chess game, because in this video I'm going to play against Beth Harmon, the main character of the Queen's Gambit series of Netflix. So you can actually also do this via chess.com. So on chess.com you can choose to play against the computer of Beth Harmon, and you actually have the chance to play against her at several different ages. So she started from like year of like 8 years old. She is then the weakest and then goes all the way up to becoming a very strong player. So I've chosen the age of 15 when Beth is supposed to be at the strength of 880 rating points. So well, let's get started. Let's see the game. So I'm actually playing this live now. So let's you will also get to see my thoughts while I play. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it. You don't get to see them. So let's play d4. And yeah, so this is not the Queen's Gambit, obviously. So they told you in the show that d4 was the Queen's Gambit, but the Queen's Gambit only appears after d5 and c4. So let's play c4 now. And g6. Yeah, so she plays quite aggressively as she did in the TV show. So she might want to play just the Queen's Gambit, the King's Indian, the Queen's Gambit character, the King's Indian, bishop g7, castle, and then play this sharp line. So what shall we do here? Let's play the move g3 here. Bishop g7, bishop g2, and c5. Okay, so yeah, so she actually plays c5. She's not going to be a King's Indian anymore. I'm going to play knight f3. Queen a5 check. Oh yeah, and it seems like there is no clock, and she actually also talks to me. So you can't see this, but now she says, am I going for mate or just trying to provoke a weakness? Smiley face. Yeah, so with queen a5 check, she's not going to give me checkmate. So what's the point behind queen a5? Because that looks quite strange. So probably if I were to put my knight on c3, she would hop in with knight e4, and then I would be pretty much pinned, which doesn't look all that promising also, although this is still not that bad. So the most straightforward move would be to just play bishop d2. Then she probably goes back to b6 and puts some pressure on these pawns. Let's play knight d2. She castles. Let's also castle. Plays d6. Alright, so she's not taking on d4. So, but her queen on a5 looks actually quite strange. So we should somehow take advantage of that. So one way we could try to do is play some a3 and b4. But that might be very, very slow because she's going to play knight c6 and pretty much cover this b4 square. What shall we do? Let's take on c5. Queen c5, and now it's more easy to develop. So let's play a3 with the idea of playing b4. Yeah, so she goes back immediately. So now we have to be a bit careful, because if we play b4, we open up this long diagonal, and she might start jumping around with this horsey, attacking our rook. So the problem is if we just move our rook somewhere, which would make sense. Okay, let's delete all the. So if we move our rook, especially rook on the rook on b1 could be immediately attacked by the bishop. And there's nothing better than going back. So rook a2 looks very weird, but let's make rook a2. Let's make the game interesting. So she develops bishop g4, and now my plan was to play b4. Okay, h6, that's a very passive move, that's definitely not good. So in the long run I want to put this rook on c2, but for the time being she might just attack it with this bishop. So let's ask a question to this bishop, what the bishop wants to do. Goes back to e6. Okay, so now this pawn might be under attack. Actually, not just mad, but it is under attack. So let's play rook c2. Let's see what she does. Knight d7. I think bishop f5 was actually a better move to attack this immediately, because now I can play bishop b2 and I will be able to, exactly now I can go back to c1. And I think, yeah, my position is actually quite alright here. So she immediately goes again quite active and tries to do something in the center. So our bishop is under attack. I think it should be taken. King takes back, and now we have some tactical chances here. So we can take this knight and then go for queen d4 check. Then this bishop is hanging, so the only way she can save it is by blocking with knight f6. And then what's them? Let's see, I think that's still the best line, so let's take and give this check. Okay, see, she again talks to me, says that this check doesn't scare me. Alright, then it doesn't scare her. Yeah, so how to go on? So her pieces are a little bit cramped here, but still there is no direct way to take advantage of this. But still we are a bit ahead of development, so in this scenario it's usually a good idea to open the position. So let's see what happens after c5. Queen d7. And now let's create a weakness. Let's take on d6. She takes with the queen, and let's make this a boring game and exchange. Okay, so the position now transferred a bit. Is d6 pawn is his Beth's, so her only weakness. But still, that's a weakness. So and we are also already on the open C file. So let's go in with rook c7. She counters and I can double on the c file. Alright, so now we are actually quite active. We have this rook on the c of the 7th rank, and she immediately wants to get rid of us. Very logical. So, but this knight d5 actually this blocked the vision of her own bishop, and was protecting this b7 pawn. So now we have the chance to take this pawn with our rook, but then we have to face some discovered attacks. So if we play rook b7, then she probably jumps to c3 and start attacking our pawns. Yeah, and at the same time we should not forget that our rook is hanging. So I'm very tempted to just play the move rook d7, attacking this pawn, and then take this pawn. Then she'll probably occupy the open file with rook c8. Yeah, and the game goes on, definitely. Okay, but still let's play rook d7, let's see how she reacts. She goes back with knight f6, which seems to be a bit of a blunder, because now we can grab this pawn. And now we are doing well. Okay, so she still occupies the open file. But now we are up material, so we are not that worried. So what she wants to do is probably giving some check, and then try to go after some pawns somewhere. So one way we could counter this is just protect our back rank with rook d1, or we can just disregard and try to, say, eliminate this bishop, play something like knight d2. Alright, let's play the move knight d2. This e4 bishop is too strong, we have to get rid of this. She takes. I think giving a check first was a better move, but... And now she plays this move. Alright, so we still have a lot of work left to do, because we still don't even have a passed pawn. So let's start pushing. I think that's a good point. Let's start pushing. Also, this makes this f6 knight a bit shaky. So now she rerolls this knight, which is good because the knight was very well placed on f6. So she goes there. Okay, what to do next? So the problem is if we go rook d7, she might just jump back. So rook d7, she probably just comes back. And this rook is still protecting our d2 knight, so we cannot leave and go for pawn grabbing. So I think the piece we have to improve is definitely this d2 knight at the moment. So let's try to reroute that somewhere else. I think knight f3 is a good candidate. She goes after pawns, but then in this case we can finally activate our... maybe not, because rook d7 she still comes back and then takes this pawn and we are in trouble. So maybe do this in the other way. Let's play knight e5 first. She goes back there, which is very logical, because she attacks this pawn and I don't like this. She's now attacking this pawn and this pawn. Not easy, she defends quite well. So the problem is that if you go up with king f3, she even takes this guy with a check, this a3 pawn. Yeah, it seems like we blundered a little bit. Alright, let's activate our king. Let's play king f3. And she doesn't even take our pawn. Yeah, but this one seems like a mistake. I think she should have taken. Yeah, so now we can come back and now we are doing well. Because king e3 and I don't think she can grab this pawn. That would be too much. Yeah, she plays b6. And now we can just play h4, saving all our pawns. And this knight on e6 is not so well placed anymore. So it was a lot better on f6 because it was guarding this d7. So now we can already consider just going in, giving up some pawns, but going after the black king. But we can also just try to dislocate again this knight. So let's play f4. King rook g2 doesn't really bother us. We can just sidestep with our king. And I think we can just push now. Yeah, let's push. I think this position is now we're close to be winning. She goes knight c7, which again looks like a mistake actually. Because rook d7 is going to be with the tempi, the double attack here and there. So let's go for it. Yeah, let's go for it. This looks very good. Rook a3 is an intermediate check, but after king f4, she's hanging here, and also our rook controls this square. Yeah, so she goes back there, but now I think she's in big trouble. Also, it's very nice, our knight is super strong, so it also controls the c4 square. Let's just go back here, controlling the d5 square, and we just want to push this pawn in. Actually, b5 is very passive. I think we're making a queen here. So yeah, finally we broke Beth, and we are going to win. So she goes king g7, which of course I didn't see, but I don't think it makes a difference. So let's play king f5. Again, our knight is super strong, also controls that square. And now we should find a way to just checkmate Beth. So the problem is she wants to give us a check. She's still fighting, yeah? Wants to give this check and then put the knight on e6. So probably the best way is we play rook d6 now to avoid this thing. And when she gives us a check, we just sidestep here. And now I really feel like we're going to make a queen here. Yeah, so we can give this check. And now we can give another check. And now actually I think we are winning, but we have to be a little bit careful. So there is this knight e6 check that our opponent still wants to do, which would fork our newly made whatever that's going to be. So we are going to be very tricky. So actually I see the solution. So if you want, even though this is a live game now, you can stop the video and try to figure out how I should win this game now. So I think the win is f8 queen. She has to take. Now we are forking her. King goes there, and now we have to take with the knight. Very important, because this knight check was a problem. So now she goes knight d5, but now she's just down a rook. So we should be comfortably win this. What shall we do here? So we can make a queen out of this h-pawn as well. That looks like a good way to do this. So let's just make another queen, or like one queen. Play g4, and let's make a queen out of this guy. We can just push this. Knight e7. Actually, we don't even have to bother. We could just even push the pawn. No, we can just push this further. And yeah, I mean, now we made a queen, so this is it. Okay, we are up a queen. I don't really understand why she doesn't resign, but whatever. She's supposed to be about 1900, so I don't know. I think she should know that the queen is too much, but whatever. So let's quickly win the game. I pre-move taking this pawn, and let's go knight d7. b3, we can take this pawn as well. So the only thing, if you are up by this much material, is you should not stalemate your opponent. But let's hope I'm not gonna do that. Queen b4, and I think after knight c5, queen b7 is checkmate. Yes. Alright, so we managed to beat Beth at the age of 15. Yeah, so she actually fought quite nicely. So the opponent was the opening was a bit questionable here. And then at some point she was a bit too aggressive. So we played this rook a2, which looks a bit strange. b4, h6, h3. Yeah, and this knight, bishop f5 and knight e4, that allowed me a nice play with taking all the pieces. And now I'm very developed, and I can open up the position with c5. And after this, I mean, she did fight quite well, but I think her position was quite bad. And then she made some more mistakes along the way in the ending. Yeah, so this was Beth Harmon at the age of 15. So if you like this video, then you can comment or give a thumbs up to the video, and then yeah, maybe I will play against some other age of Beth as well. So see you in that video.